Hello, Argent Dawn. It is the Ratchet Radio team here. Unfortunately, during recording we had issues with Andrigo's microphone, which caused him not to be recorded.
This is completely the Venture Co's fault, and we do apologise for allowing them to cause such a problem. However, we have been editing and working hard to make sure the episode is still up to scratch.
And we really hope you still enjoy the episode, despite the major problem and setback. We hope that we can avoid it next time for episode 7. Thank you for understanding.
The screen's flickering, and that means we're live. Welcome, folks, to Ratchet Radio, Argent Dawn's tidy podcast. Today's show is sponsored by the Gear Fist IBS. That's infantry, battalion, and supplies to you ignorant mooks. Old Quickcoins pitched in to shore up the studio for a very reasonable price. So sit back, relax, and enjoy these four mooks ramble for the next hour or two. And mind the time, boys. Grumpá wants to have the place to himself tonight.
Hello, Argent Dawn. We are back once again. Is Ratchet Radio rocking the airwaves from our giant tower above us, and hopefully it won't collapse on us because, you know, Golden Engineering can be a bit sticky. Thanks to Gearfist IBS? Yes, IBS. Yeah, thank you very much for sending Boosh back to us. We appreciate it. We put one as a guest host last week. This week we'll send him to war. It's not a problem. If we do have any issues with the Venture Co, we can blame him. It's fine. Don't forget you can blame him in our email address, AskFM, in the YouTube comments, etc., etc. We'll put all those below and mention them most likely somewhere throughout the show. But today we are joined by the scum of the earth from Silvermoon.
Edrasil and Dawn.
Some Argent person who left the Alliance fairly recently and returns being a neutral.
Potatoes! Sorry.
And someone else who was not originally an Argent, but wasn't an Argent originally, but was a Cenarian person, who now is in the guild which was once full of Argents. We have
Aseldar Moonshadow.
See, that worked quite well for once. Oh my god, we actually did something well.
Apart from the potato part.
We do need a party popper just for getting that right. Yeah, that's the first time we've ever got that properly right, and it's been 6 episodes. What the hell have we been doing?
Lucky number 6, as they say. Or do they? I don't think so.
I thought it was lucky number 7.
It's a thing now. It's lucky number 6. Come on, guys.
Okay. Before we enter the realm of complete madness and delusion, which usually I can be found in anyway, but we're going to get on with the show. And first up, we need to go to the person who was retired from RP, but yet wishes to stay with us. So we've got to talk to the scum of the earth about the scum faction.
Well, I'm not exactly going to be talking about the scum faction, because I don't believe that there is a scum faction, because we're all equal, and we're all great in our own individual way. So basically we're going to be talking about Horde news, or at least I am going to be talking about Horde news, and one of the 2 things that I wanted to talk about today are 2 sort of, I guess, village hour. I think that's probably the best phrase to describe them. So I'm going to be talking about the Bloody Village Hours, because it is the month of the Kodo, interestingly enough. And then I'm also going to be talking about Nights on the Echo Hours, with the recent ceremony, which was actually last night on the 31st. So that's going to be very interesting. So let's start off with Bloody Village Hours. I was reading through, and I think one of the main interesting things is the fact that it's all about these totem animals, and this month being the month of the Kodo is specifically important because the Kodo spirit is one of the oldest of totems and known for its strength, strong links with tradition, and its love of food, which basically makes it the perfect thing for me because I do love food. I don't know who doesn't, well maybe some don't, but you know, that was the main thing. So I thought it was really cool. I love village hours. It's possibly it's such a great community project that I think almost all smaller communities, or at least, you know, on Horde side at least, it's very important because we don't have the thriving hub that, you know, that's akin to Stormwind at all. Even Silvermoon is you know, quite silent nowadays, so we don't have that sort of strength anymore. So it's really nice to see that going. So one of the main things that the events that were there were the wrestling competition. From what I've seen of the winners and everything, there's like a feather weight competition. So that's like really light people, and then you got lightweight, so Blood Elves and Undead, medium weight, Orcs, Trolls, Pandaren, and small Tauren. So I don't know. I still think Tauren will be the heavyweight. So heavyweight is obviously, of course, Tauren. So the big dogs fighting it out. This is really good. Of course, the featherweight goes to the goblins, who are the smallest of them all, because it would be a bit unfair to see a goblin go up against a Tauren. Which also brings me to the point of what we were saying a couple of weeks ago about role fighting and PvP and such. You can often have a goblin beat up a Tauren. Where does that lie? That's another thing for a debate that I wanted to bring up, so I'm going to mention it there just so I don't forget. There's tug of war and storytelling, socializing. that all seems to be perfect. And the tug of war specifically, because who hasn't played it when they're younger, and doing that online, on as your character, maybe as a Tauren or even like a Blood Elf, it's fantastic. I really like that idea, I wish I could have been there to see how it was done, and how that went down. So really congratulations. And from the comments on the forum page, it looks like it went well. Obviously there are some issues presented, like goblin commentary and everything, whether that like diverted from the whole Tauren aspect. So that's quite an interesting debate. And if you've got any thoughts on that, please let us know in the YouTube comments below. That'd be fantastic. Or by email or on the Ask FM. Just give us your thoughts. So big call out to the Spirit Wolves for doing that. So we're going to move on to Knights on the Echo Isles, and this Saturday was the ceremony for Bethek. It looked really interesting. From what I can tell, it went down really well, and even the Tauren from the Bloodhoof Village Elves, which happened to be a couple of days beforehand, they even turned up, and it looks like the whole thing went really well, and that the sermon and the offerings and the games and everything were really interesting. So some of the, from what I can see, there were stealth games, so basically based on hide and seek, to honor the lower, because obviously her traits are stealth and subtlety. So that's a really interesting take, and I imagine that if in certain other events, each ceremony will have their own sort of games and everything, which is really cool. I'm totally up for that. That's amazing. I'm also really interested in how you do the songs and music. I'd love to see some more screenshots and everything like that. It looks really good. So basically, thanks to the Troll RPs, the Zulian Legacy and Raptor, you guys are doing a great job, and I've heard about you for a long time, and I'm really jealous that I don't actually roleplay on my troll. He's just for PvP. So those are the two things that I wanted to highlight for Horde news. Pass it over to the Alliance. You guys can go get him.
Oh, that'll be down to me then. And Bush, you need to pick up your work, mate. We had a slight blip here. Yeah, slight blip. Yeah, cheers, mate. Appreciate it. Cheers. So Alliance, what you been up to? Not a lot, really. I want to feature Moonbrook RP, a town called Dirt. We're reading through the forum thread. Very interesting. A good way to use Westfall, because Westfall is often unused completely. Yeah, and it's quite good. It's quite interesting. I mean, I'll probably send in an alt there sometime. I've got so many alts to send so many places, so don't expect to see them anytime soon. Next up on my list is the Storm Poetry Appreciation Society. Again, they're back, people. Apparently, it's been going on quite well. We featured them once before, episode 435, one of them, and it's on the 6th of June. Same place as usual, back at the May District. And Bert will again just turn up or send him a mail with some work if you want to read some poetry. Some past news, which took place just after the recording of the previous show, which was the Sigil of Seven Awards ceremony, and it was effectively them giving out medals to those who fought alongside them or helped out with events they did before they went inactive. This was sort of their big coming back event to celebrate their 1 year anniversary, which they've asked us to mention a bit. So we've mentioned that for you. There you go, guys. Appreciate that, and thank you very much for letting us know. The Alliance, other than that, I haven't found really much to talk about the Alliance. There's the Yav Dalaran lecture about the magic in the world. Well, that's sort of like a magey thing, so I'm not. So if you want to turn up to that, you're more than welcome to. As far as I'm mentioning, I think it's recommended for majors only, but of course you guys are. I think it's open to anyone who wants to come along. Being Crystal Song Forest on the 4th of June. And that's pretty much what we got for Alliance news. Okay, we've got 3 campaigns and another neutral event to mention.
That's going to be difficult. That's split 4 ways. What are people going to do? You know, they're going to be like, oh my god, what are we doing? Are we going right? Are we going left?
They're effectively, you've got one after the other, now after the other.
Just what you wanted. It's like Christmas come early, but in summer.
You know, to be honest, it is him. We can't really expect more.
It's the Blood Thistle. I can't.
No, it's not the Blood Thistle this week, is it?
No, maybe not. No, we'll get on to that. Maybe not. Maybe.
No. No, right. No. We're going off topic again. I'm putting my foot down. Okay, go with the Frozen Heart while I try and find Outland.
Frozen Heart is an upcoming campaign in Northrend, running till the 21st of June. It's been organised by Nimsel of the Gearfist IBS and his team of volunteers and mission writers who have been stacking up a lot of team scenarios and objectives designed to bring the Horde and Alliance into close contact to either work together or compete with each other. The campaign's focus is set around dealing with the resurgent cult of the Damned, and is prefaced with a series of prologue, rumours and small events, including the cult's activities around the rest of Azeroth, and how the various groups across the world have reacted to the news. Set in stages, the campaign aims to progress through Northrend in a timely and logical fashion, aiming for a 2-week duration. Which I think is good, because in the past, that's around the point when the guilds start to tire of being on campaign and drop out, as we saw in the likes of Winds of Twilight or the Ash of Draenor, or even before that in the Borderlands. The final stage, Stage 4 I believe, begins on the 14th, when the Alliance and Horde armies move into Icecrown to settle things with the Cold once and for all. At the campaign's conclusion, the points scored both sides for completing missions and objectives will be tallied, with the winning side claiming the Frozen Heart itself, an object of great worth that will bring prestige to whoever wins it. Now, I like to see sandbox campaigns like this. It's better than just sitting around waiting for the next expansion to hit. I mean, I love Hearthstone and all, but sometimes just staying in the same place too long can get a bit boring, you know?
As if you hate Hearthstone. The throne of all your potatoes. The potato motherlode is in Hearthstone, just so everyone knows.
Yeah, well, of course, we'll be following these campaigns and giving you updates, of course, through Ratchet Radio as we get nearer to the dates, because these are June, July. The next one is Red July, the one that there was. Anyone going to cover that? The one that there was? No. So to give you an idea of what's coming up, it's being hosted by Arthur, which is appreciated. Nice to see an PvP campaign. It's kind of hard moment of the truce being on, so it's interesting to see how people do them. So the story is Azeroth's fragile truce shatters overnight. Patrols scramble for armaments and sentries stare carefully into shadows. What never was has begun. An Alliance combined military exercise to train raw recruits results in fresh faces being exposed to the fiercest combatants. On the other side of the fence, the Horde military ceremony on and the fall in Northrend is unexpectedly interrupted. All I'm going to say, looks fun. Horde, you need it for this campaign. It's looking more at the moment. Any Horde that are going out there are going to get butchered because there are so many Alliance players. It looks fun. Taking me from the 18th of July to the 23rd of August. 18th of July, 23rd of August. It's a month long. It's going to be quite long.
I would join, but I'm off my tits on Blood Thistle most of the time, so.
That's what it's. I'm not going to really. I'm not going to go there. Yeah, it should be fun. It's quite interesting because people say have problems with RP PvP being restricted and unrestricted, and so a way to combat this is you have Venture Bay, which is in the PvP zone in Grizzly Hills. That's going to be for the RP PvP that's unrestricted, but the rest of the zone will be very much restricted. So if you want to go for unrestricted RP PvP, you go to Venture Bay. If you don't, you stay in the rest of the things. It should stop ganking. It should, in theory. After much searching on the forums, because someone told me a guild and it was the wrong guild. Right then, the Outland Expedition, hosted by another goblin. Another goblin. This time Krakow the Iron Vulture. Sorry if I butcher your name, I'm not quite brilliant with them. Anyway, there are no official dates on this one, however it's looking like in late July, early August start. So keep checking on the forums for more up-to-date information. So I check them in every other day or so. Anyway, this campaign's the one hidden from my grass, completely off my radar. Sorry I haven't found it. Found it now, thank goodness. So, this one is very much like Spine of Kalimdor in the way it's set up, with everyone having their own unique reason to turn up to the event, and everyone going to have their own unique stance and things. It's very much Spine of Kalimdor-ish. As far as I can tell, the zones that will be involved are Hellfire Peninsula, Zangarmarsh, Shattrath, Blazewitch Mountains and Netherstorm. The latter two will be hosting the majority of the events. So if you like Nagrand, you can need to do it on your own time because this event will not be covering it. And I've got to say, it is very much like Spine of Kalimdor. You can have your own PvE missions, you can have RP/PvP, you can have sort of nights where you can just sit down around a campfire and roast a marshmallow or something. But what they do need, and they do need pretty damn quickly, is Alliance support. So Alliance people, if you've got some free time, late July, early August, you want to get involved, do so. It looks fun, get involved, hopefully it should be a good time. It's overlapping Red July, and I think it's overlapping just at the end with, it starts they're debating whether, they haven't really got a debate yet, so it could start with the 14th. They say they want to start it as close to the 14th as possible, but it could potentially go up to the 21st of July. So, here's the thing, we're trying to gauge at the moment when events are going to happen, because it's hard for us to try and do, especially just reading through forum threads. But it's got loads of events, activity, social evenings out in Shattrath. Oh my god, that's a lovely city, we need to visit there. DM'd missions, PvP events, so like the Towers and Hellfire and Zangarmarsh, and then caravanners between Blade's Edge and Netherstorm. Maybe a battle for Tempest Keep. Oh, very interesting. I think Blood Elves and Draenei would be interesting in that one. General task, exploration events, item tasks. They're apparently going to set up a dedicated channel used for IC announcements. Apparently they've got a lot of Horde covered. They need Alliance now, so naturally AD3 support behind it, and we'll see what happens. But it looks fun. This summer for Argent Dawn looks full of campaigns, and that History of Argent Dawn page is going to be absolutely filled to bits by the end of it.
You see, having all these campaigns is great. I mean, we're waiting for the new expansion to come out, and it's taking us out this wonderful low.
I love how you called it a wonderful low. There's a wonderful low point of Argent Dawn, all these campaigns happening. Such faith.
Said wonderful lull.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I think that pretty much covers the Alliance news, the Horde news, and the both faction and neutral news. If we have missed anything, of course, let us know. If you want something of yours featured, do let us know. Of course, you can email us at ratchetradio@gmail.com. You can do ask.fm/Grumpá, and you can always leave a YouTube comment or put on the forum thread. Naturally, we will respond, and we might put it on the show in our mailbox section. The next thing is Argent Dawn on Twitter. Yeah, Argent Dawn on Twitter was a thread put up by Zugra. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. I'm very, very sorry. And effectively, it was she's on Twitter, and she pretty much got a suggestion, seeing, because there's a lot of EU and US people here on RP servers from WoW who then go on, make their characters on Twitter, or take on a leader or faction or a notable lore character on Twitter, and it's pretty much, it's interesting, and she's pretty much gone through and explained how you RP on Twitter, and it's one thing you need to read for yourself. I mean, I'm on there as the Prophet Velen because, yeah.
He is the prophet.
And I've also got Grumpá and my Blood Elf on there, and my best mate's Khadgar, so I'm pretty much sorted all round. So and you got people like Sean on there, and Shan. I forgot to mention Shan when Argent our guys was down was amazing. She found out how we could find, if the worst happened, she was able to find our pages using the Google Cache thing. If it wasn't for her, I think some people were panicking, they lose all their stuff, so thank you very much to you. It's a bit late, but you're being thanked now. We have Crowthorn, who's on there. We have Moira, who's on there. Renwin's on there. We also have Finley Dornez on there. Yeah, Finley Dornez is on there. You got so many people on there. It's amazing, and it's good. And Argent Dawn on Twitter. It'd be interesting to see. This thread got buried by rate the fame above you thread. So if you want, I think we'll leave a link to that thread in the description, or if not, I'll stick it up on the forums again, or post on it. It's interesting to see. I mean, Twitter RP is fun because you've pretty much got to try an RP with less than 140 characters, which is always a challenge. The amount of synonyms you find for words is quite good. I think it's a good role playing exercise because it teaches you how to not do 6 paragraph modes at a time. And if you're listening to that, so you know who you are. There we go.
Yeah, stop it.
No,
Stop it.
that was directed.
I'll admit, I'm one of those as well.
Stop it, both of you.
That was.
I will take all your potatoes. You've been warned.
Oh.
You can take my potatoes, but you'll never
The
take
whole farm
my
full
freedom.
Oh dear God. Right. Yeah. Gobbo, who I rehired, take us out, please.
Word around town is that this Reaver crowd, the Wolfbane, yeah? They're looking for more honorable mooks to join them in fighting for the proper Horde and War Chief. They ain't turning the profit, but hey, who am I to judge? I got a secure gig here. So, if you don't care about the moolah and you want to shove some scrubs around, then look up the war leader. I'm sure they'll take good care of you. They might even make you mash some potatoes. Sorry, Drigo.
And we are back. Well, that was an interesting break. We had another attack by the Ventrico. Bush nearly met his end, but thank goodness for our one-armed paladin over here who has glowy eyes. Hello. Thank you for saving him. As usual, guys, we are back from our break, which means one thing and maybe another thing, depending on if you remember or not. We have our guest interview of our wonderful guest host, whose name I can never pronounce. Don't worry, he'll say it in a minute because he'll get it right. And then we have our debate of the day, which we could also call our debate of the week because it is very topical, is it not?
It is.
But before we get on to the very topical debate of the day, /week, /episode, we have our guest interview. And to start off, I'm going to ask the Blood Off Scum to introduce this guy, considering he is our chief interviewer.
I'm the chief interviewer. Okay, right. I thought I was Music Man. Well, today we have Aseldar, who is a Cenarian, and he's a night elf. He is also another elf scum, but is on the wrong faction.
He's on the right faction.
Wrong faction? Spoken by the deformed cousins of us, come on.
We're not deformed. We
Yes, you
merely
are.
evolved into something more beautiful. Like a butterfly. You are simply the caterpillar. Hey, in some cultures that's sexy. Just saying.
On topic, gentlemen.
Anyway, back to it. It's totally topical. Anyway, so we're going to be asking our wonderful guest host, or our guesty guest, a bunch of questions, and he's probably going to answer them, to be Captain Obvious. So, shall we begin? Grumpá, do you want to get going?
Okay. Question number 1. What is it like to merge a guild?
To merge a guild. Well, for me it was really relatively easy. I mean, with my guild and the Martinwall Dawn, as it was called back then, we've been working a lot already together. And once we merged, it was basically just like, all right, so we're now officially one guild. You know, how are we going to do this? Well, why not do it exactly as we were doing? So it's basically like we've got 3 separate wings, obviously. Cenarian Circle, the Argent Dawn, and the Ebon Blade. Which all 3 wings have 2 officers, 1 leader, 1 officer. And it's usually just like you listen to your own leader or your own officer, and if both of those are absent, you listen to one of the other leaders or officers. And aside from that, well, really command structure about, I imagine that a lot of people who try to merge their guilds might have issues with one wanting to do something and the other one not agreeing. There's two things to be said about that. One is, for us at least, I think Andrigo can vouch on that one. Our leaderboard always agrees. And the second one is basically don't be loot whore over the guild control button. I don't have it, I really don't care. I mean, there's other ways to make sure that people respect you as an officer. If you're not cut out to do something like that, you're not cut out to be a guild master at all, in my opinion.
I agree.
Okay. Question 2. Is it because we mentioned earlier, because you're a neutral character, therefore for some, is it hard for you to RP as a neutral character, especially considering you can't get involved in a lot of RP PvP campaigns, which you might want to? Is it hard as a neutral character, really, because of that, or is it? Do you find it hard at all? If you get my line of questioning?
I think it's opinion based of what kind of RP you're looking for. I mean, I've tried RP PvP in the past, and I absolutely horrendously hate it because you're just like auto attacking all the time, and you're not really making the story. So, personally, I'm looking for the story behind RP. I mean, that's why we RP, isn't it? To make a story for our characters, a story we enjoy. And it actually makes, in my opinion, a lot more interesting story if you're a neutral character, because when you're Alliance, you can go, oh yeah, an orc, let's bash its head off, and you've got no problem. You're doing what you're supposed to do. Vice versa for the Horde. Orc sees a human, goes like, yeah, I'm gonna crush it. Yeah, no problem. For us, we see a dark-robed individual walking into Hearthclan, and we can't crush it because it might be a cultist. No, we have to seriously sit down and try to figure out. So it is. There are downtimes, there are downsides of being a neutral, where you just there's nothing much going on. There's not much different things you can do, and at certain points you run out of ideas because the Plaguelands, well, what is there? There's undead, there's cultists, and that's about it. There's nothing really to do aside from that. So the events can get really easily tedious. But that's luckily we have enough people in our guild, and also if you're a neutral guild, you're gonna have to fall back to what we do. Like, oh yeah, if any one of the members has an idea for an event, feel free to make it, feel free to host it, everything. We give you full support. Because it can get very tiring on the ones that lead it.
I suppose I better move on to question 3, which is my last question, because I've been told off for being too nasty. Damn people in my ear. What I gotta say, I mean, I quite like Kirin Tor RP. I RP a Kirin Tor mage and everything like that. Well, Archmage, so yeah. I find Kirin Tor RP more interesting. The Scum over there prefers a place called Blood Elf RP, and we have the White-Eyed Templar, who is just an all-round badass. So what drew you to Cenarian RP to begin with?
What drew me to Cenarian RP? Well, it wasn't really Cenarian RP in the first place that drew me to it. It was basically a friend of mine that went like, oh yeah, could you really please, considering your main, at that time I had a main which was something, it was like, yeah, that's not really consistent RP, and there's a few friends of mine who could really use someone with decent RP skills to help rebuild the Cenarian Enclave in Darnassus. And I did that, and it actually drew me a lot. What drew me about it is there's a lot of different opinions in Cenarian RP. You have the pacifist druids who go all life, wildlife, all animals, every single leaf should be preserved. Then you have the war-orientated druids who go like, yeah, everything that tries to mess with what we stand for, we're gonna just bash their heads off. And then you have the side which I align myself more with, the circle of life, which sounds really cheesy, but it actually is valid. Like, you could kill animals, you could cut down trees, as long as it all serves a purpose. So that, in my head, makes a lot of sense. And that's what I really like about Cenarian RP. You have to think and be very philosophical about your decisions when RPing.
That's as good as an answer as any.
So I still remember I was in Asheville, was months ago, and someone emoted out killing a bear in front of me, and then turning around and go like, oh shit. And my character just looked at it, was like, are you gonna eat it? Yeah, then go ahead, and walked away. It's as easy as that.
Was that your question?
Yeah.
Or clarification? I have a couple of...
Yeah.
Boosh, come on, Boosh.
Are they? Am I okay? Is the system? Am I just lagging really hard?
You became a sheep.
I'm okay now?
Yeah, you became a sheep, but you're fine now. It's fine.
Get those mages out of here. I don't want Arcane here.
Okay, alright. So you let Bush handle, you let him on the interview last week, and just letting them attack me all the time. Maybe I just pressed the button when I was high on blood thistle. Who knows? Either one. So to my question then, I have two questions. My first one is, I'm really curious about this. What is the stark difference between what is the difference between Cenarian RP and Argent RP, or is there even a difference? So I want to hear your thoughts on that.
This is something that we encounter a lot in Hearthclan, actually. A lot of people approach us and they call us Argent. They call even my character, they call him Argent. And I'm like, do I look like an Argent? Because Argents, they're the light wielders. They're like, all evil must be purged, and faith in the light, where we Cenarians just go like, yeah, if the legions would be nice, we would be fine with them, but they're trying to like burn this planet apart, so that's why we have an issue with them. It's not just because they're demons, and that's how the Argent Crusades goes. They go like, oh yeah, they're demons, so let's kill them.
Oh goodness.
Oh god.
Right. We have an issue in the fact that the Venture Co has abducted Edrasil, which isn't a travesty. Fortunately, I do know what his second question was. Now, as you know, he's a blood elf scum, and he wanted to know: do you think, as a druid up here, we blood elves, I'm quoting him, could be druids?
Hell no.
Ooh. Topical.
Just no. The blood elves. If you think about it, what works best against fell energies, which blood elves technically are? They're fell elves. What works best against fell energies? Light and nature magic. If you try to combine fell energies and nature energies in one body, that's gonna have an internal conflict so bad you are basically going to rip yourself apart sooner or later. And the thing with the light not conflicting is because they have the sunball, they cheat.
It's just one of those things. I think he was interested because a lot of people are asking for blood elves to get druid as a class.
That wouldn't work. I mean, sure, we don't have any lore supporting that blood elves can never be druids, but if you apply the same logic that Blizzard has applied to all of their class race choices in druidism, you have the trolls who have their Loa. So yeah, that's a form of, hey, we've got a few spirits that we can borrow their powers from to transform. You've got the Tauren, who have basically similar to the Kaldorei with their beliefs. They after all, they hunted Malorn for ages and stuff like that. Then you have the Worgen. Well, the Worgen are basically one of the old Kaldorei shapeshifts, which went horribly wrong, and then thousands of years later, with some experimentation, the Worgen were born, and that actually did work out. And then, well, the Kaldorei where it all originated. So those all have logic why they would be druids. Basically, before the Sundering, the High Elves were still highborn. They drew upon the well thingy.
Well of Eternity.
Name slip. Yeah, Well of Eternity. Thank you. And used Arcane. And of course, Legion invaded. Kaldora went like, "You guys what?" And then kicked them out, and led to another arcane corruption, leading them to High Elves. But that's the same with Highborn. Highborn can't be druids because they you are arcane wielders, and arcane and druidism does not combine.
Well, what about boomkins? They use arcane magic.
Ah,
Boomkins is not a lore official form. Not a single druid in lore has shifted to a boomkin. It's just a pure game mechanic.
yeah, Zankiki did.
Zankiki did?
Zankiki was learning to be a druid.
Damn it! I've got to slap him again.
I think the point that he was trying to make was that as Blood Elves descendant of the Night Elves, surely some of them would be able to have the gift, because not all
I think
not all Night
personally-
Elf mages are highborn.
No, they should actually be all highborn, because if you look at the lore behind it, how did the highborn became? They were Keldorai who started using arcane magic, and they corrupted into the highborn because they were using arcane.
Maybe I don't-
Elven bodies are actually really easily
They-
affected by magic.
They didn't corrupt into the highborn. The highborn were a society, were the high class of the Night Elves.
But they were the ones with
They
pale
corrupt- they-
skin and stuff like that.
They
through arcane.
only corrupted into that following their what's the word I'm looking for? As they became more distant from the rest of the Well of Eternity, aka Nordrassil, they lost their purple hue and their height due to their distance from Nordrassil. Not
That's
because they were corrupted. You could call it corruption, but it's not.
Yeah, that's how I'm used to calling it like that because I mainly play a Keldorai.
I know me. Yeah, I'm just sorry jumping in on the lore point there. It's what I do.
That's good. It's good. I mean, there are indeed it's not 100% certain if a Keldorai now that would start using arcane would be a hybrid. Wouldn't be a hybrid. It doesn't say in lore. There's a lot of blanks that Blizzard still has left open.
Yeah, damn Blizzard.
Fucking hell. But yeah, in all essence, in my opinion at least, until Blizzard decides to fuck me over, Sindorai druids, no.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh, thank God, Bush managed to get the rescue mission dealt with.
Yeah, yeah, just out of nowhere, one jumped me, and I just kind of got grabbed, and now my voice probably sounds a bit funny because they probably whacked me.
You've been smoking blood thistle again, haven't you?
Yeah, I think so.
On his way back.
Well, I need to take some sort of remedy. I mean, you try getting kidnapped by Venture Co. Then they're not very nice, and they try and feed you weird things like fish and stuff. Grim. Did you ask my second question?
Yes, we did.
What was the answer?
He doesn't think so, but I argued a lore point.
Sad. That's really sad. You know what? I think we could be great druids.
But not going to get into that, not again.
Okay.
Biting back arguments.
Okay, Andrigo, have you got any questions? Or else we're going to head into the debate of the day.
Nope, no questions. My microphone isn't working.
Okay. Okie dokie. Debate of the day, lads, was brought. No, I'm not going into sure what action I was going for there, but debate. We've lost Edrasil to the bench go again. We have.
Can someone really just close that door and keep him locked in here?
Right, Boosh, we need to go find him again.
Maybe Ardo's helping them. I don't know.
Right, this week's debate of the day is brought to you by Oras. Is he back? I think hopefully he's back.
I'm back, yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, Bush managed to get you back in time. And it's brought to you by Oras. Hello, Oras, pillar of the holy community. Praise be to Oras, the almighty Oras. But the thing is, Blizzard Diversity, a fervent discussion, and it's effectively Blizzard and potentially using controversial things such as you got transgender issues, homosexuality, you get racism they sort of cover, but it's one that it's sort of topics that are fairly taboo, if you get what I mean.
in my opinion, it's not entirely relevant. I mean no disrespect to the minorities or communities that feel hard done by. But a forced representation is not always beneficial, and indeed, really, if it has to be forced, then it's not genuine either. If a character's entire gimmick, be that what it is that they belong to a minority, then they're not a well-rounded character, and that's not going to do them justice. Whatever orientation or belief someone has is not their sole defining feature, and it shouldn't be all that composes them. This is especially important for a game like this, where there's such a huge audience. And the story should come first, the characters should then follow as well. And if minority characters can be implemented in a genuine, flattering way without a big deal being made of who or what they are, that's how it should be done. There shouldn't be a big song and dance or debate over if they've been excluded or not. Half the characters that are implemented could be from minorities, but just because they're not being incredibly open about it doesn't mean that they're not. Who are we to say? How do we know? I mean, isn't part of the whole thing of some people being in minorities that they feel that they have to hide? And it could be very true in this setting as well. Some characters could be hiding what they are, who they are.
I'm going to say something here on that, because in my honest opinion, I genuinely believe that a lot of character decisions are done for the sake of money, in terms of the fact that they will make a character as bland as it needs to be or as epic as it needs to be, as long as it suits their agenda. Because in the end, Blizzard is a company, and Blizzard is a company that wants to make money, and it doesn't really matter to them whether their character is good or not. Maybe that's just an overgeneralization by me. I'm sure there are people that do care, but in terms of the company and what the company wants, as long as the characters do their job and people play the game, that's what they care about. And the majority of people that play the game aren't the ones that really give any sort of thought or take huge enjoyment out of the lore characters being diverse in such a way, or they'll do anything that suits their needs. I guess it's kind of like a means to an end, that sort of idea. And I think that's pretty bad, and I hate that. It's really not okay. It's like it's in the same way that with Star Wars, they've with the new upcoming movies, Disney have just gone and said all of the sort of like extra material, all of the canon books and everything that happened in the past and the future, all of that's completely retconned, and the only canon law now is the 6 movies, and that's just not okay. And they're only doing it because they need the space to be able to make 3 more movies, because a lot of the future stuff has been taken, and there's only so far you can go with stuff like that. But it is really bad practice, and I really don't like it. But that's just kind of how it works. And unless you are the boss of that company, you're never gonna get it. You're never gonna push it towards what the players want, because there's too much money to be made from those who don't really care, who just would rather PvP and PvE, and that's all that matters, really, to be honest. It's a sad world. So I feel like I brought it down completely on the conversation.
No.
With that, but
I mean, as a member of one of the minority communities myself, if you really want to know what I am, you can always ask me. I don't have a problem. Send it to me on Ask FM. But you need to. I feel sometimes that you don't really get represented. You don't really get represented. It's sometimes, I know, because I think about it, if so many people are what they are, why can't, if you want to make the game as real as possible, which they often say they want to do, why not include actually what it's like in reality? Because you can't, while it is fantasy, not everyone's going to be 100% perfect, going to have flowing blonde hair, blue eyes, and everyone has flaws. Which is something which, because no one is perfect. I mean, you can have bloody, take Andrew and Ren for example, a character everyone loves to hate. He seems to be perfect, but even he knows he's not perfect. In going back to War Crimes, he sort of begins to understand he's not perfect. It's one of those things you gotta. If I understand, it's effectively what Edrasil says. They do what they can to make money, and they don't give a damn elsewhere, which I think is a shame, because in a lot of ways it doesn't truly reflect their their player base, audience, etc.
And we see where Blizzard started going off from that. Warcraft 3, awesome game. All of that game is just the pinnacle of, in my opinion, their lore quality. Like, there was so much richness in that game. It was so enjoyable. Frozen Throne, just as good. World of Warcraft at the beginning, like it seemed to be there, but in recent years, each expansion, you get the feel that it's just getting a bit more along those lines. And another pointer to that is Warlords of Draenor. We're back in Outland pretty much. So why recycle into that when we have so many other places we can go? So many other places. You know, Twisting Nether hasn't been explored yet. I mean, why go back to Outland? And there's just so many possibilities. It's such a confusing thing, and they're only doing it because everyone loves the orcs, man. And they want to see the savage orcs ride around killing people, Iron Horde, rawr, and a new motorcycle, which is amazing. But yeah, I think that's a main thing. And I'm just going to say to our listeners, if you agree with anything on this, or if you feel we're wrong, or if you want to add your own couple of pennies in, then just please write us an email or comment below. Comment below is better because I read them out. I read the good ones out, by the way. So it's got to be good to be read out because it gets too much reading all of them out. But yeah, so that's my opinions on that.
Guest, we got to ask you what you think, really, because you are the person we invited on the show. So what do you think? I mean,
I think it's basically been said already. It's far too much commercialism with just trying to make money, and it's no longer really about what it should be about. It's all been really said already.
Yeah, says it all, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The depressing truth.
It is the depressing truth, really. Yep, take a short break. We'll be back with viewer comments, our mailbox, and advertisement for something else that's coming on Ratchet Radio YouTube channel. So we'll be back after this break. Gobbo, take us out.
If you find yourself in Ashenvale, I'd watch your back if I were you. Take one wrong step and the Shadowleaf Watchers will be on you like a gnome on a screw. I hear they're wardens, proper Caldori head to toe, hiding in the shadows, using leaves and stuff. Don't know if any night elves are listening, but if you are, and you want to do right by your people, give them a shout. And hey, even if you're not a night elf, if you got long pointy ears and some purple paint, I reckon they won't even notice.
And we're back. Thank you very much for the adverts. And yes, Sergeant Dawn, we are back, and this will be the final section of today's show. My goodness, we're actually organising. We've got sections today. This is amazing. Edrasil is going to have a word to you lot in a minute. But before he does that, we're going to have some viewer comments, which I believe he's nearly got ready. And even before then, Ratchet Radio is going to have a brand new show coming most likely over the weekends, because we record the main show over the weekends and it normally comes out midweek. So because my lore section, which I often write, never gets put into the show itself, we decided that, okay, I do a lore show, maybe put on a guest, maybe, depending on how things go. Record it midweek and maybe have it come up at the weekend. I've recorded episode 1 and I think that should be ready to go fairly soonish, hopefully.
Should be. I will be cranking those out as soon as I've returned to university, so I can deal with that.
Yeah, and they should be coming up. I will be recording Wednesday, so hopefully it'll come up on a Saturday or a Sunday, depending on how things go. And if you want to see anything on the lore show, please just write again, comments, emails, threads, anything. I'll be grabbing Aseldar to do episode 2. He'll be alongside me in episode 2 because we're going to be doing something which we've mentioned to each other for a long time coming, and it's good. So I think that's pretty much the lore show plug, which is going to be called Story Corner of Grumpá, because I'm the only one who does it, because no one else wants to do it, because I'm a lonely person.
You're just the best.
I know.
If he gets a chair, where am I going to sit then?
You could always sit on the chair next to him.
or on my knee, doesn't matter. Right.
Kinky.
Oh, shut it, you. You're worse. You get worse. You get worse with every fasting week. I swear. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but Edrasil's a lot worse than what he tells us before the show. Anyway, we now need to go on to viewer comments. If you want to go, if we start with the YouTubers, and then I'll check the emails, and then yes.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. So, as I was saying before the wonderful break that we had, I'm picking out the best. And what I mean by best, well, I mean the ones that are either interesting or probably relevant. A lot of the comments are, well done, really enjoyed it, and I thank you so much for those comments. And those comments mean no less than any of the others. But in order to talk about them, they need some substance, and for us to discuss, or at least for me to answer them, then I just need something. So one of the first ones I'm gonna start with is from Mr. Halo Freak. Mr. Halo Freak 6665, or maybe no, it was 666. Oh, that 5 days ago. I read that wrong. That came out wrong. Right. Okay. 666. That's an interesting. Anyway, it seems that most ally RP is in Stormwind at the moment. Can you recommend any guilds or any places else to look, or anywhere else to look, pretty much? Andrigo, Grumpá, do you want to give this guy some suggestions?
Yeah, sure. Well, not all. I mean, I'm Kieran Tor, so I'm Kieran Tor, so I can always be found in Dalaran. I mean, Ashen Vale's quite a nice place as well. Ashen Vale's often quite busy. Ironforge, the Three Hammers, they're quite fun. They're quite good. But as to recommend guilds, recommend guilds for you to join. That's more of an interesting topic, because we don't. You need to give us more details before we could recommend you a guild. There's, of course, the bog standard military guilds, which you can find in Stormwind all the time. If you're looking for special groups, Nature RP, try Darnassus. Draenei RP, try Aseldar. You get the idea.
Well, not all Draenei RP is in the Exodus. Not all human RP is in Stormwind. The Eldori Axiom, formerly the Throne of Doros, has set up shop in the Swamp of Stars for quite a while now.
There's also the Shield of Argus, from what I've heard.
If you need be, if you can't find them in game, always hit them up on their forum thread. I'm sure they'll respond to you. The Draenei community is very nice. It's just a shame it's limited to very few guilds. The only issue with the Draenei is they've got an awful starting zones to kick them off.
Yeah.
Getting through to your Mist Isle is a pain, and then Blood Mist Isle, you just want to kill yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I remember that back in TVC. That was terrible.
It's gotten no better.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the next one. The next comment, I'm bringing it out just because... What does it even say? I don't even know. This one is from Sean. I will try and do my best. You can find it on that YouTube page. It pronounced Eminini. Lag in RP. Look forward to next time.
Is it that comment which
I'm not even sure what that means.
Was it one of those comments which I can never understand and always have to get you to translate?
Yeah. So I'm gonna now have. I did that kind of very literal translation. Well, not even translation, but a readout. So now I'm gonna try and translate it. I think he's in some sort of pain. So it's pronounced enemy, I think, or enmity. I don't even know what. I'm so confused. Yes, it's hurting him deeply. So Sean's in pain. And then he's in pain again. And then I think it says laugh in RP. So I'm a bit confused. You're hurting, but now you're laughing in RP. Maybe he is maybe the pain is the laughter. Okay. And then look forward to next time.
Right. I've solved the mystery. Okay. He's had an extraction at the dentist, but he's been given laughing gas to reduce the pain. And you know what laughing gas does? It makes you laugh, it also makes you a bit confused. So there we go.
That makes sense. Yeah, thanks for the input, man. That was really good. So I found that an interesting one. Moving straight on, this one's from Tao Shen, and it's something that I mentioned last time, so I'm going to read it out. Tao Shen says, I think certain things are perfectly valid to ignore, like the unfortunate situation of R-word RP that Edrasil mentioned. Generally, I'd be fine. Well, I'd miss the character, of course. If someone killed my character in a logical situation, I'd let it happen. But if I was anywhere remotely near someone who was into that kind of RP, I'd honestly feel that I'd have to retcon it. That sort of thing doesn't even have a place in the real world, and bringing it into a game is sickening. I completely agree, man. It is a terrible thing, but at the same time, we try and find realism in WoW. As much as it is a fantasy world, and as much as I think the fantasy part is very, very important, people tend to try and find realism, and because the R word is very much found in the real world, and it is a realistic thing for, well, at least it is a realism that it happens. It's somewhat hard to escape that, especially if you believe so heavily in it. What I honestly think is the major point is that we're all very much in control of our RP, and I very much believe that if it's something of that disgusting nature, you should easily be able to say no. And if you want to take part in that sort of RP, go ahead, but if you don't, say no. And I think that's the major part about it.
You pay your certain amount of sub per month, you decide what you want to do with it.
Just don't inflict it upon others. On that note, that's the YouTube comments that I picked out this week. Please do keep bringing them in. Make them interesting, make them good, make them fantastic. I want to see a fight for like the best ones to get on. Basically, I want to see some interesting comments, guys. And do keep wishing us luck and everything like that. I'm not saying that those aren't worth them at all. But if you do want to ask a question, just throw it in, and I'm happy to talk about it. Really loving it. So yeah, Grumpá, you're all handed over to you now.
Okay, I'm going to start off with the emails because there's only one of note. Others have been applications. Don't worry, we've read through them all, and you're all on our shortlist to be contenders for episodes in the future. Okay, I'd like to say that for a start. So the first one's from a good old friend Galha, who also sent me a weird Ask FM, but don't worry, I won't be reading that one out. He's pretty much offering to maybe supply us with some in-game video for the show. Which he has for apps, and he can do it in high quality. So if he needs anything, just let him know. Okay, to that I'll step in and I'll say, okay, we've got your email, we've got you, and if we do need anything off you, we won't hesitate to shout at you. And I'm gonna go on a limb and say, if any of the rest of you guys got anything you want to send us regarding video or something, and we can review it, might put it in the show. Can we say that?
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to Ask FM, and then this is my own personal one, and I get personal stuff, and I also get Ratchet Radio stuff, so I filter through it. But there's one which I could never really understand, and I couldn't understand if it's personal or Ratchet Radio, so I'll bring it up here. And it was Spaceman was literally the entire thing. Yeah, and I was hoping it was a Portal 2 reference, because I couldn't quite tell. I'm hoping it's Portal 2 reference. I hope my response to Ask FM makes sense, because I'm not honestly sure what you were getting at there. So, okay. The next one I'm going to suggest was interesting because I hadn't heard of it, and I know Ben hasn't because he told me earlier. He said last year a radio station called Umba FM launched Brewfield AD. Do you consider yourself anything like them? Do you take any inspiration, or have you been a fan of them? And to which I say, I've never heard of them. When I first suggested this idea to Andrigo, I was like, what if we did an AD podcast? It'd be quite interesting to do. I hadn't heard of a radio station or an Argent Dawn before. I'm not sure about the rest of you. I'm throwing this wide open because I don't know.
No, I didn't know. I've never heard of one.
Never heard.
There have been podcasts in the past. I do know that. I know of. There was one in the past. One of my old co-GM Zoo used to do one on her with her partner at the time. I think it was Zai. That was her character's name. But I can't remember what it was called in general. And it was a podcast, and it did involve AD. So if this is the one and the same one, I now know the name. But I never was told. But I do know there has been podcasts in the past, but like nothing that I guess has gotten the support that we've gotten. So thank you very much, AD, for that.
Yeah, we do appreciate the support. So in answer to your question, we can't take inspiration because we have no idea what it is. Is that fair to say?
I think it's fair to say.
and that was by Oz, the mighty Oz, Mr. Warpwrench, who, yes, we have mentioned you in this video. Yes, and I said only one mage per studio goblin rules, especially with the druid in here. I don't think he was appreciative of me being here in the first place.
I can stomach you. I can stomach you for now.
Oh, thank you very much. Considering I have come to your campaigns in the past on my, don't play WoW in Darkshore and doing this at the same time because you nearly fall to your deaths. I am in Darkshore on my new Worgen. And then the final one, which is interesting, and I answered this, I found it too vague, so I couldn't give a proper answer straight back and ask FM, but hopefully you guys can give me some meaning so I can give a proper answer here. But the question is there... Oh, that's not one. Oh, I'll get that one in a minute. Is there anything you'd like to see RP'd in Argent Dawn?
Probably Blood Elf Druids. I'm gonna go out there and put that there. Blood Elf Druids. Druids
How about I kick you in the Grand Sea and you go looking for the original Sunwall there? For the Wall of Eternity.
Gladly, man. I mean, that gets me a better high than Blood Thistle. I'm looking for the next level. I'd say, actually, you know what? Druid's my favorite class. Blood Elf's my favorite race. Blood Elf Druids. Even though that's not law correct, but I'd like to see Blizzard do it. Just because. That's my fave. Yeah, on to you guys.
It's a tough one. There's a lot of things been done already.
Yeah, I went down a different line. I said I would like to see something done well.
Ooh. Ooh.
Oh, that stabbed. My heart is pain.
Okay, I'd like to see Blood Elf RP been done well.
Oh God. What is this turning into? What are we, gangsters now?
Shots fired, son.
I said
I'm throwing the potatoes.
But honestly, I did want to see. I said I want to see a house guild done well.
Now, I'd like to see more Tauren RP, because there's not much of them, and they are actually pretty badass, in my opinion.
Badass in the bovine sense.
Okay, and the last one I got was what are your favourite parts of RP? And that was the broad question which I couldn't answer because I found that too broad. But hopefully you can give me a good eye. Maybe give me a sense of what's what I'm looking for here? A sense
direction.
No, I wouldn't say direction. I'd say bloody context. That's what I'm looking for. So do you think you can give any context?
What, you mean us, or are you talking?
Yes. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys. How would you?
Really broad topic.
I know.
Okay, guys. How about this? Instead of us answering that because it is so broad and we have time constraints, comment below. Whoever said that, ask us again on AskFM or on YouTube or wherever.
It's by ADH Mom, as in the American way of spelling mum.
Okay, ADH Mom. Can you do it again, but focus on the specific context, just so we can answer it better and clearer, because I'm sure all of us could talk for days, and unfortunately time constraints mean that we've got to fit certain things in. So it's a good question, but context would be great. So on that note, moving on to the next bit.
Your
anything else to
speech.
say?
It's your speech, I think, next.
Oh, is it? Okay, I'm just going to go ahead with this. / stands up. / E stands up. So I just wanted to talk, guys, because as some of you may know, I've basically taken hiatus from playing WoW completely. And what may be confusing for you now is that I'm obviously still doing Ratchet Radio, and you may ask why I'm still doing it when I'm not actually taking any part in any of the roleplay that's going on. And it's a fair point. The reason why is because, obviously doing the editing and music selection and all of that is something that I actually really, really enjoy, and I'm happy to help the guys out and everything. And I'm gonna still be doing that for as long as I can. But also because I really enjoy making the podcast anyway, like talking and stuff. Speaking to wonderful guest hosts, just like our wonderful one this time, and talking about such topics like the Cenarian and the Argent differences. That was incredible.
We need to get better security.
Yeah, I need to get better security. Boosh, you know, you're a great guy, but I need a stronger punch. So that's one of the reasons why, and I'm gonna try and stick around, and I'm trying to do this on as much as I can to stay involved in the community, because even though I've maybe left on an IC and OC sort of basis, I'm still a part of it, and I still have many friends, and I feel like I can give something back through Ratchet Radio, even if I'm not explicitly on WoW. So I thought I just owed you all an explanation as to why I'm still doing Ratchet Radio. But that's all I have to say on that note. Anything else that we need to add before?
No, I'm good.
Sit here.
Does that mean I get to give a clean finish?
Yeah.
My God. Okay. Well, let's try and get this off to a start then. Argent Dawn, thank you for tuning in. I gotta say thank you to our guest host, who I can never pronounce the name of. I think I'm gonna go with Aseldar. I butchered it.
Aseldar. Aseldar. It's not hard. Come on.
Aseldar. Oh.
Jesus.
Yeah, I went there.
Clean finish.
I don't think he meant it literally.
No, I was taking.
He's an ass elder.
That's good.
Oh,
like
shots fired back.
I like that.
Oh, you mentioned Blood Up Community RP. Oh man, you're an ass elder now. Lord of all butts.
I will murder you in your
That's
sleep.
episode 6.
At least
Right,
we know what
anyway.
the name of episode 6 is going to be.
Right, okay, guys. We got. I gotta finish this. Yeah, so much.
Right, sorry, Grumpá, shut up. Finish us off.
We have to take away that pat on the back. We've had Aseldar with us this week. We've also been joined by the potato stealing Andrigo. I was waiting for that.
I love
one.
that girlish laugh.
Shut up, you.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Potato stealing Andrigo.
we also have the potato stolen scum of the earth Edrasil.
I was stolen.
Yep, he was stolen twice. But yes, we've been Ratchet Radio. I've been Grumpá, and after completely corpsing that amazing attempt at a clean finish, we'll be seeing you next week on Ratchet Radio. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.